You remember that moment, the one where everything changed. A word that cut too deep, a door that slammed too hard, a silence that lasted too long. It wasn't just an event, it was a fracture. And deep inside your skull, something shifted, not in a way you could see or touch, but in the wiring of your brain itself. Trauma doesn't just hurt your heart, it rewires your mind. It changes how you see the world, how you feel safe, how you survive. This video is about that hidden transformation. How a single wound can turn your brain into a fortress of fear. How it builds walls where there should be bridges. How it teaches your nervous system to treat everyday life like a battlefield. And how, even now, you can start to rebuild. Stay with me, because understanding this rewiring is the first step to undoing it. It's the map out of the maze your mind became. Let's strip away the vague language. Trauma isn't just something bad that happened. Trauma is what happens inside your brain and body when something overwhelms your capacity to cope. When the pain, fear, or helplessness is so big that your system can't process it in real time. So it does the only thing it can. It adapts. It rewires. It changes you to keep you alive. On the surface, it might look like you just became more anxious, more numb, more angry, more disconnected. But underneath, your neural circuits are reorganizing. The brain is choosing. What do we need to amplify to stay safe? What do we need to shut down to avoid breaking? It isn't asking what will make you happy later. It's asking what will keep you functioning right now, even if that function is painful. Imagine your brain as a city. Before trauma, the streets flow normally. Traffic moves. Lights guide you home. There are quiet parks and busy centers. A balance. Then, trauma hits like an earthquake. Roads crack. Bridges collapse. People panic. In that chaos, your brain doesn't wait for a perfect architect. It starts throwing up barricades, detours, emergency sirens. Anything to prevent another collapse. The amygdala is like the city's emergency alarm center. In trauma, it goes into overdrive. It tags certain images, sounds, faces, places as never forget this. It strengthens pathways between those cues and your fear response. That's why a smell, a ringtone, or a phrase can send your heart racing years later. The wiring between this and danger got reinforced like thick, high-speed cables. The hippocampus, your brain's memory librarian, gets flooded by stress hormones like cortisol. Under that flood, it struggles to sort and file memories properly. Time blurs. Some moments are burned in with painful detail. Others become hazy, foggy, or missing. That's why you can remember the color of a shirt from a bad day, but forget huge chunks of your childhood. The librarian was working under a storm. Then there's the prefrontal cortex, the rational planner. The part that says, this is the present, not the past. We are safe now. During trauma, blood flow is pulled away from it and toward the survival systems. Logic dims. Impulse and instinct take over. This is useful if you need to run from a car or fight an attacker. It is not so useful in a long-term emotional war. But your brain doesn't care about context. It cares about survival. Over time, repeated stress, neglect, or chaos can shrink the volume of the hippocampus and weaken connections in the prefrontal cortex. Meanwhile, the amygdala can become more reactive, like a smoke alarm with a broken sensitivity setting. It goes off for burnt toast, not just house fires. Your body responds as if the worst is happening, even in simple disagreements or disappointments. This isn't just theory. Brain scans of people with PTSD, complex trauma, or chronic childhood stress show exactly this pattern. Overactive fear centers, underactive regulation centers. But you don't need a scan to know it. You feel it when your reaction doesn't match the situation. When a small conflict feels like your whole world might collapse. When a simple no from someone feels like full abandonment. Childhood trauma adds another layer. When you're young, your brain is still wiring basic beliefs. What is love? Who am I? Is the world safe? If love comes mixed with fear, inconsistency, or emotional absence, your brain has to reconcile the impossible. It often chooses to blame you. If they hurt me, something must be wrong with me. If they don't see me, I must be invisible. If they leave, I must be unlovable. Those beliefs aren't just sentences. They're circuits. Networks of neurons that fire together every time something even slightly similar happens. Someone takes a little longer to reply. The "I'm not important" network lights up. Someone looks tired when you talk. The "I'm annoying" circuit fires. You don't consciously decide this. The pattern runs itself. Trauma rewired your brain to choose self-blame because blaming others felt too dangerous. Another way trauma rewires you is through hypervigilance. When you grew up needing to constantly scan for danger, your attention system adapted. It became better at detecting threat than safety. Your eyes, ears, and body prioritize what could go wrong. You might walk into a room and instantly notice the most tense person, the smallest rejection cue, the slightest shift in tone. You don't notice the kindness as easily, not because it's not there, but because your brain decided long ago that safety is less important to track than danger. Then there's dissociation. When overwhelm is too much, the brain sometimes pulls the plug. It disconnects you from your body, your feelings, even from time. It's like the city grid going dark to protect itself from overload. You may feel numb, unreal, detached, like you're watching your own life from the outside. To others, it might look like you don't care. Inside, it's the opposite. You cared so much, for so long, that your system shut down to stop you from breaking. All of these are examples of rewiring. More fear connections, stronger shame pathways, weakened trust circuits, shortcuts to numbness. But it's important to remember, none of this was random. Your brain made these changes to protect the most vulnerable parts of you. The problem is that what once protected you now imprisons you. Maybe you notice this in relationships. You pull away from people who get too close because your wiring associates intimacy with control or pain. Or you cling to them because your wiring associates distance with abandonment. Maybe you sabotage opportunities because success feels unsafe. It might expose you, attract envy, or raise expectations you fear you can't meet. To the outside world, it looks irrational. To your trauma-wired brain, it's consistent. So what can you do? If trauma rewires the brain, are you stuck with this forever? No. And this is where hope becomes more than a pretty word. Neuroplasticity means your brain is not a finished product. It can learn, it can unlearn, but it doesn't respond well to force. You can't shout at your amygdala to calm down. You can't threaten your nervous system into safety. What it needs is new experiences, repeated, in environments that are safe enough. The first step is awareness without attack. When you notice a big reaction, instead of saying, "What's wrong with me?" try, "This is a trauma pathway lighting up." That small shift moves you from being inside the pattern to observing it, from total identification to gentle distance. And that distance is where choice lives. My brain is screaming that I'm in danger. But am I? Next, come back to the body. Because trauma isn't just stored as thoughts. It's stored as tension, posture, breathing patterns. Feel your feet on the ground. Notice the contact of your body with the chair. Lengthen your exhale slightly. When you exhale longer than you inhale, you activate the parasympathetic nervous system, the brake that can slow the alarm. It won't erase the memory, but it sends a competing signal. Right now, in this moment, we are not being attacked. Over time, you can gently introduce your brain to situations it fears while giving it a different outcome. This is not about forcing yourself into panic. It's about titration, small doses. If you fear saying no, start with tiny, low-stakes no's. If you fear being seen, share one honest sentence with someone safe. Then, when the anxiety spike comes, you do something radically new. You stay. You breathe. You don't abandon yourself. Every time you do this, you're creating a new association. Saying no equals I survive. Being honest equals I'm still loved. Feeling a feeling equals I didn't collapse. Those new associations are new pathways. At first, they're fragile, like thin trails in a dense forest. The old trauma path is still a highway. Your brain will keep taking it by default. But each time you walk the new trail, it gets clearer. Each time you choose not to attack yourself for your reactions, you weaken the old shame circuits. Sometimes, external help is crucial. Therapies like EMDR help the brain process traumatic memories in a way that reduces their emotional charge. Somatic therapies help your body complete fight or flight responses that were interrupted. Even simply telling your story, in a space where you are believed and not blamed, can start to reorganize your internal narrative. The default mode network, your inner storyteller, can begin to write something other than "it was all my fault." None of this is quick. Trauma often happened over months or years. Expecting the rewiring to reverse in a week is another form of self-cruelty. You are not a broken machine to be fixed. You are a living system that adapted to unbearable things. Healing is not about deleting the past. It's about giving your brain enough new evidence that the emergency can end. There will be setbacks, days when the smallest stressor sends you into old spirals, when you watch yourself shut down or explode and think, nothing has changed. But in those moments, you have an opportunity to do something different afterward. Instead of only judging yourself, you can add one sentence. Of course I reacted that way. My brain was trained to. But today, I'm at least seeing it. That seeing is already new wiring. At a deeper level, trauma tries to convince you that you are your reactions, that you are your fear, your numbness, your anger. But you are also the one who notices those states, the awareness behind them, the quiet witness who can say, "This is happening in me, but it is not the totality of me." That awareness is the part of you trauma could not rewire. The part that is watching this video right now, hungry for understanding. Your brain may have been shaped by what hurt you, but it is not owned by it. You can collaborate with it now. Instead of asking, "Why are you like this?" you can ask, "What were you trying to protect me from?" Often, the answer is heartbreakingly simple. Loneliness, shame, abandonment, not being enough. When you see this, you stop being at war with your own mind. You start grieving with it. If this resonates, know that you are not alone and not beyond repair. Many people walk around with trauma-wired brains, blaming themselves for symptoms that were once solutions. This channel exists to give language to what you feel and to show you that your reactions make sense, even when they hurt. Understanding is not the end of healing, but it is a powerful beginning. If you want to keep exploring how your brain, your nervous system, and your past shaped who you are, consider subscribing. Here, we don't demonize your patterns. We decode them. Like this video if it helped connect some dots. Share it with someone who thinks they're crazy for how they react. Maybe they just have a brain doing its desperate best. Your trauma rewired you for survival. That was never your fault. But now, slowly, you can choose new wiring. One breath, one boundary, one honest moment at a time. The earthquake is over. The city is damaged, but it's still standing. And you? You are still here. That means rebuilding is not just possible. It's already beginning.